5 sexy things that guys do without knowing. You don't even know how sexy you are, but I'm gonna tell you. Stay tuned. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Arica, Angelo, and I am so glad to be here, glad to have you here. And we're going to talk about the sexy things that you might already be doing, and you, my dear, are clueless. You don't even know you're doing these things. And if you've been following my journey, you know for the past 2 months, I've been living in France, and now I am in Bali, back in Bali, lived here last year. So at the end of the video, I am gonna show you some really fun clips of Bali and what it's like. So if you've never been, maybe after watching some of my videos, you'll see, maybe you'll come out here as well. Now listen, if you have not become a part of my members community, what the hell are you waiting for? This is the place that you want to be. If you want to get the tools to really get the woman that you want, and you want a sense of community while doing it, it's one thing to understand and get tools about how to get the woman you want and how to keep her. But it's another thing to be supported. Like when you go out and talk to a woman and then you get rejected, who are you gonna have around you to pick you up, dust you off, and get you back out there and maybe give you some pointers on what you could have done better? You know, it's not always possible to reach out to me and say, I need a coaching session right now. But what you can do is be a part of my private community, where in our private group, you can post about what's going on and your challenges with women and be supported by a community. And that's where I spend most of my time. So I hope to see you in that private members community. All right, let's get into this. I'm gonna give you the meat and potatoes first. When a guy is upfront with a girl, this is incredibly sexy. Now, this is the thing that keeps most men in the friend zone and makes them what? Unsexy, unattractive. That makes them just that sweet guy, that friend. But when a guy is upfront with a girl from the beginning, this is very sexy, muy caliente. Because basically what he is saying is this: listen, I'm interested in you, I want to pursue you, I find you very attractive. But when you are not upfront and you're playing that friend zone of, hey, I'm just here to hear about your life and spend time with you and hang out, that is not being direct, that's not being upfront. But men who are upfront with their intentions and what they're about with the girl that they're with, this is very sexy, and it turns a woman on because he becomes a man in her eyes. He's no longer a boy, acting like a boy, hanging out with her, but not being upfront and direct. You see, most of the time, women have to do this. Women have to have the talk with men. But when a man gets in front of that, he separates himself from the boys. He becomes a man in her eyes, and he's refreshing for her because she's like, finally, I don't have to be the one leading. Here is a real man who's doing his job by leading. So being upfront is very sexy. Now I'll go into some of the lighter stuff about being easy to talk to. That's right. Sometimes men don't realize that this is a very sexy thing. You know, when you're dating guys who are good looking, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate, it's a real letdown for a woman. It's a turnoff because relationships are all about communication. So when you're a man that she can talk to with ease, this disarms her. It brings her guards down. It lets her know that if there is a potential for a relationship with you, that you are the man that she can do life with because you're so easy to talk to. And this women find inherently very sexy. Now, the third thing is a man who takes charge. It's very similar to what I said about in the beginning about being upfront, but a man who takes charge, a man who says, this is the date that we're going on. Or when you're at a restaurant and let's say you go in and let's say, you know, it's filled with people. The guy who can take charge and go to the manager and say, listen, there's gotta be one space. Look, I've got this beautiful girl. I can't have her sitting at the bar. gotta find a table. And you know what? I gotta find your best table. And then he makes it happen. He finds the table. He gets the evening set off in the right direction. A man who takes charge like this is very sexy, very refreshing, especially to women who are on that alpha side, who are used to leading all day at work and their careers. But when they have a man that knows how to take charge, he knows how to make things happen, this is very, very, very sexy. So make sure that you're taking charge on the dates, you're taking charge with the communication. You're not always waiting for her to text message. You're not always waiting for her to suggest dating ideas, but you're taking charge and saying, listen, I would love to have a picnic with you on Saturday. What's your Saturday around 11 a.m. look like? Because there's this fabulous spot I really want to take you to, and I want to open up this fantastic bottle of wine with you on our picnic. Taking charge like this is very sexy to us women, so make sure, my dear, that you are taking charge. The fourth sexy thing that you guys do that you may not even know, you don't even realize you're doing this, is you're confidently smooth with your touch. The guy who interjects touch, that touches her arm just a little bit, or moves the hair out of her face, or slowly takes his hand and works it up against her neck, or leans in close to her and brushes his hand against her leg. These sort of smooth, touchy moves that a guy does confidently is very sexy to a woman. When you're in the beginning stages and you're just trying to touch a woman, it's not necessarily very sexy, because a woman can feel that energy, that you're nervous and you're practicing. Hey, if that's you, you got to start somewheres and build that momentum, build that confidence. But when a man gets comfortable with his touch and he can interject touch, this is very sexy to women, because as I've said in all of my videos, is that touch is what bypasses what's going on in her mind and facilitates that connection. It reminds her that you two are human beings, and it makes the chemistry happen between the two of you. So if you're touching her and you're confident about it and it's just second nature to you, my dear, this is very sexy to women, and you probably didn't even realize you're already doing it. And the last one is a guy who knows how to make things happen. So let's say she wants to go to some concert and the concert is sold out. This is a guy that goes, you know what? I am going to find a way to get my girl and I at this concert. It's that man who is tenacious, he's determined, he makes a way where there seems to be no way. You become like this magician, this miracle worker in her eyes. But once again, it's kind of going back to a guy taking charge. The guy who makes things happen, once again, lets her disarm from the busyness of life, of paying the bills, of running a company, all these things that women have to do that are alpha traits that we have to do to support ourselves and survive. But when you as a man step in and you can make things happen in her life, guess what you are doing? You're being very sexy because you're relieving pressure and the burdens off of her. It's one less thing that she has to do. It's one less area in her life that she has to be in charge. So when you can make things happen and she doesn't have to be responsible, it's like, whew, in her mind, she's like, finally, a real man. Finally, not some little Peter Pan boy where I have to take charge of everything. But this man, he is taking charge of things. He is making it happen. So my dear, if you are doing these 5 things, being upfront with a girl, being direct with a woman about what your intentions are with her, being someone that's easy to talk to, a guy that knows how to carry conversation, taking charge, not waiting for her to always lead, but taking the reins and you making dates and situations happen. Confidently smooth with your touch, getting into that groove where you're touching her, it's comfort, it's second nature. This is so sexy. And the 5th thing, which is making things happen. So she doesn't always have to be the person going, okay, well, this situation isn't working out. What can I do to make it work? No. She doesn't even have to go there with you, because you, my dear, are tenacious and you're witty. So you're like, I can figure this out. There's always a solution, and I'm gonna find that solution and make this happen for my woman. So in the comment section below, let me know which of the things that I've said is something that you've already been doing and you didn't even realize it. You didn't know that you were being this sexy the whole time. And like this video if it spoke to you. Listen, my dear, it's great to improve and become better and your weaknesses. But what you also have to do is acknowledge your strengths. So some of these things that you're doing that are very sexy to women, you have to take the time and acknowledge, hey, listen, this is something that I am doing right. So listen, you have what it takes. Focus on your strengths, strengthen those weaknesses. But remember this, that you, my dear, you're already loved. And if you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Sending you so much love from Bali, and I will see you, my dear, in my next video, and more clips of Bali in my next videos. You take care of yourself.